Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I have got questions for you. What opens with Miss Keisha living in the townhouse, and she's like a single mother now? And what closes with Nisha feeling like saying, I feel like folks don't need to have kids out of wedlock? And then Keisha exits, hard exit. If you guessed WAGS Atlanta yesterday's edition, then you're correct. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we get from opening to close. Okay, let us proceed. So we have Miss Keisha. This color is really weird. I'm like, it's a new tablet, y'all. It's like, it's just getting used to a whole. I'm like, this green, everything looks green. Okay, so we got and I'm still trying to figure out work with these names. We got Keisha, and she separated from her man CJ at the end of the episode. The last episode, they separated it. Remember, that happened because he had found out that she had put a secret hidden invisible camera in what looked like an outlet. It was an outlet, it was a working outlet, but it was also a camera. So he like, oh no, I can't have this, you got to go. Well, you know, we not gonna, we gotta split up. So I'll give you time to get your stuff together, but you got to get out. They not married, they got children together, but and she don't trust him. Then we see Callie and her, oh, so Callie, that must be her baby. They're staying at the townhouse. So I guess, you know, he ain't just throw them out on the street. He threw them out to the other residents, probably the less glamorous residents. And then we see somebody in the interview. I thought it was Telly, but I think it's somebody else because I don't think we saw Telly this episode. But I loved her braid in the interview, and I saw somebody else. Oh, maybe on My Love and Hip Hop Miami. What's her face? Veronica Vega had a long braid in her interview. And then we see Keisha, and she's taking the girls to away games. Keisha, I don't know what that means. Oh, Keisha is explaining to, you know, one of the women how he was, you know, at away games, he had other women that he was dealing with. He would be flying them out to, you know, he had a full-fledged social life. Like he was living like a bachelor, even though she thought that they were together. But don't you think I think she know he a player. I mean, he been playing, but anyway. And then Telly, I don't know if that's Telly, but she's like, you know, do what you got to do. And then Keisha's like, he don't get to. Maybe she was trying to say, he don't get to dog me out, or I don't know. But anyway, because Keisha was trying to explain why she put the cameras up, because she couldn't trust him, and why she couldn't trust him, which is just, I'm like, if you just can't trust somebody to that point, you don't need to be with them. Why you fighting so hard to be with somebody you don't trust? I don't understand. I mean, and it's kind of, yeah, and you know you can't, but anyway, Ariel and Harry, and we're at Ariel's, and Ariel is one of the lady's baby sisters, and Harry is her sister's husband. He's at Ariel's place. He's her brother-in-law, and Harry is like, you know who you dating, and Ariel is like, you know, well, no athletes, and Harry is like, well, that's good. You need to get you a plumber. You know, and I have heard some stuff in the locker room from other athletes, and that don't be comfortable. You know, you can't be out here, you know, dating these athletes a month here, 4 months here, 2 months there, 3 months there, because then they all be talking in the locker room, and they like, oh yeah, I dated Ariel. Oh yeah, I dated Ariel. Oh yeah, she do this, she do that. She, you know, and I have to hear it. Now I don't want to hear them talking about you like you a hoe. He didn't say that, but that kind of seemed to be like the implication. You know, your reputation is compromised. And she, you know, he like, I don't want her reputation compromised because she's like my little sister. Then we see Nisha and Andre. Now, Andre is the one who later on, I was like, he kind of looked like Arsenio Hall. So I just wrote Arsenio Hall because I didn't know what his name was. So if I say Arsenio Hall, we talking about Andre. That's Nisha's husband. And Nisha is a married lady. And they're in the office, the phone is ringing, and Andre won't pick up, and Nisha is yelling, you know, pick up the phone. And there on the wall, it says Chie, C-H-I-E, and that stands for Caldwell Homes and Interiors. Maybe their last name is Caldwell, but they do, you know, so it's like you know, she does interior design and stuff for people, I guess. But she says she does it all. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a boss lady, she's a this, she's a that. Everybody can't do it, but she can, and she does. You know, everybody ain't able, but she is. And then we find out that Andre, her husband, wants to be a sports agent, and he's studying, and he's kind of taken over her office, or he's crashed in her office to study. But she has an annual event that she's working on getting ready for called Champagne with Chide. And she wants to donate services and products to those who are in need. So she's working with a nonprofit agency. So then when people get new housing, she can give them, like, you know, beautiful interior design and beautiful, you know, things to put in their new housing. And, you know, that's nice. So Nisha is, you know, and then the woman who was with Keisha earlier comes and she's talking to Nisha. And Nisha is basically not really sympathetic. Like, the woman is like, oh my God, CJ was doing this and CJ was doing that, and CJ is just awful and terrible, or, you know, and Nisha is like, well, Keisha, you know, it's 2017. How come she got pregnant? I don't feel bad for her getting pregnant. I don't feel bad for this. I don't feel bad for that. You know, Nisha is not sympathetic to Keisha's plight. And she says, you know, pregnancy is planned in this day and age. So she chose to have a baby with a cheater. And Kiera, that's the other woman. Kiera is like, you know, had come to visit, and they're talking about Keisha. So, oh, my back is hurting, y'all. Ooh. And then we have JJ and Kaylin, and his name is Jer something. But they're dealing with his suspension. Remember, at the end, he got suspended for having drugs in his system, extra testosterone. But she says that it's because he has depression, and that's what their doctor had given him to treat it. And he was thinking that he was going to get traded. When they called him into the office, he was very surprised by the suspension. And, you know, they talk about his depression. And he says he's been close a couple of times, I guess close to suicide a couple of times. And Kayla is like, you know, you mean more to me than a job. And I'm just glad that you're here and alive. And, you know, it's heartbreaking to see you struggling and in pain. And, you know, their vibe seems very sincere now. When I met them on the first episode, I was kind of like, but I kind of bought into their love in this episode. Like, I think they like love each other, right? Did you get that feeling? And I'm not, you know, I wasn't planning to buy into their love, but I think I did. You know, I believed her. And then we see Kaylin, she says she's cooking for JJ. She can't cook, but she's trying to make him smile by cooking. And I'm like, so cooking is a joke? We don't take cooking as a joke. It's serious. Look, but you know, that's not her thing. She's good at ordering, and I guess her preference is Chick-fil-A. She says she don't like cooking. She does not like cooking because it's hot and you're standing a long time, and she says her legs hurt. And I wanted to add, you know, this stuff could happen, like you could catch on fire, or, you know, you might sweat, or, you know, whatever. You might smell like food. It's just, you know. And JJ comes in and he's watching her cook and he's laughing, and she likes to eat Chick-fil-A, and he keeps suggesting pizza, but he doesn't like the food that she prepares, but you know, it's like a nice try, A for effort, and I think she did a good job of cheering him up and, you know, being upbeat for him, you know. And then we see Kiera on the phone with Keisha, and she's like, you know, what are you wearing to Nisha's event? And Kiera is like, blah, 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 blah. And then she tells Keisha how Nisha was talking about her, like she wasn't sympathetic. And basically, Keisha feels like, you know, Nisha, you know, it's kind of like, basically, Kiera is like, she basically said you got pregnant on purpose because you was trying to secure the bag. And Keisha feels like she's being put in a box, like the baby mama box. And I'm kind of like, but you are a baby mama, so I don't understand. And then we see CJ and the dark-skinned beard guy, the husband. He's a bearded husband. CJ is the unbearded, the bearded non-husband, and then there's a bearded husband. And then we see the Andre, the Arsenio Hall guy, and they all meet up, and CJ is telling the men that Keisha had the camera in the whole situation, and the other guy with the beard who's married says that he would have had to, you know, that would have compromised his marriage. And CJ tells Arsenio Hall looking guy Andre to check his sockets, because you know something may be going on for him, but he married to his woman. I don't think anything going on over there, but I don't know. And then Nisha and Keisha are meeting up at a restaurant. And Keisha's like, I want to talk to the source. I heard some stuff from Kiera, and you implied that I tried to trap CJ. And Nisha is like, girl, it's 2017. And whatever, I don't really care. We're finished. I never said trapped. I didn't use those words. But you need to check with your girl Kiera if you concerned about that language. I just said what I said. And Keisha is like, just because CJ and I are not married at this moment yet does not mean that I am on the struggle bus to get married. And I'm like, wasn't she the one last episode, her and the other woman who were trying to pressure the man to get married? I don't know what the struggle bus to get married looks like, but I was kind of like, if she ain't on the struggle bus to get married, I don't know who is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was probably somebody else who was like really pressuring the man to marry him and staying with the man who cheated on him and having children out of wedlock. I'm so old fashioned, Angela. Stop it. I want to slap myself, but it's a symbolic slap. But anyway, she says she not on the struggle bus to get married. And you're trying to be, this is what Keisha is saying to Nisha, you trying to be the HBIC, the head biatch in charge. And I do get some, I do get the same treatment as a wife because I'm a boss biatch. Because, Nisha was like, well, when I wasn't married, the wives treated me different, and I think they should treat me different because you're not married, And so that really got Keisha upset. But I think that Keisha, if she's the one who, I think she said that she was a six-figure woman before and that she didn't need to get married and all of this other stuff. I think she needs to like take some time to reflect, and maybe seeing herself on the TV, she'll see how I think that she might be trying to project an image that's different from what is actually going on. That's how I feel, but I don't know. And then we see Ariel arriving at her sister Kiera's house, and Kiera's concerned about Ariel's dating choices. They having a conversation about it, and the sister, Kiera saying that she hated dating, but Ariel loves dating, and Kiera is like, the athletes are selfish, and I got lucky, that I got one that's not a selfish butthole, but basically they're selfish buttholes. And that's what I've been thinking watching these shows. I'm like, they don't really seem like, as a group, at least the ones on reality TV, they don't come across good. And if you've been an athlete and a star like all your life, and you just get what you want and people just fawn all over you, and how would you develop they might not be getting training and development to be the nicest people. I mean, I'm just saying. And Ariel is like, I'm dating a guy, but he is an athlete, but he plays baseball. That's better than football. Isn't it? Like she's like, you hear sister, this is what I think she thinking, sister, you got you a rich guy who's athletic, and I want me a rich guy who's athletic. I don't want no plumber who, you living like this, and I'm going to be living like, a middle class person. I want to live like you living. So yeah, I'm going to get me an athlete. I'm a cute girl and yeah, I'm in the circle. So yeah, I'm going to try to work this. And then we see JJ and Kaylin, they're double dating. They're at a baseball, JJ and Kaylin, they're at a baseball batting cage situation with Nisha and Andre. And Kaylin is in the cage, and she looks like at first she's like struggling a little bit in her heels, but then she like hits her stride. And then Andre, Nisha's husband, is Arsenio Hall. I had been the whole time, I'm like, but anyway, Nisha's hubby is retired, and we find out that he was retired after a Super Bowl and that it was a surprise situation. So I don't know what the deal is. And Nisha says she doesn't really have any married friends, and I was kind of like, I wonder why. Does she have friends? She doesn't seem like the warmest, friendliest person to me. And that doesn't, sometimes, all kinds of people have friends, and sometimes the warmest, friendliest people don't have friends. But I was just like, I wonder why. And then we see Ariel and Kiera is rejecting Ariel's date clothing. Like, girl, that's too short. Your butt cheeks are hanging out. And then Harry comes in, and he's like, well, less is more. That's good. And Kiera wants Ariel to be less hoochie. And Harry, her husband, this is off to the side, he's very personable. I like him. So then we're on a double date with Ariel and Ray. That's her date. And Kiera, Ariel's sister, and Harry, Kiera's husband, and Ariel's like big brother. And they getting on, Keisha is getting on that man, asking him all these questions, and then brother Harry is asking him questions too. And he says, brother Harry says that he calls Ariel 6'9" because she's tall, and Kiera and Harry seem to like Ray, and Ray seems personable enough. He laughs at, he seemed like he handled the situation well. And then we have Keisha and CJ. Keisha and CJ, I don't know what that means, but Nisha looks pretty in her dress. Oh, this is probably at the event. In Home Stretch is the agency. I think it's the nonprofit that helps people transition from homelessness to homes. So that's who she's partnering with for this event. It seems to be a white party because everyone is in white. And Keisha and CJ say that Keisha says, it's the South, so we just put on a good face and we came to the event together, even though we're separated. And Sincerely is there, and Telly is there, and Deontay is there, and so it's Champagne with Shy is the event, and then Keisha's hemming up Kiera's man, like, well, where's Kiera? I came here to for answers. And Harry is like, well, Keisha tells Harry, I came here for answers. And Keisha tells CJ that she might be trying to straighten it out about her trapping him. So Keisha's trying to get with Kiera, but Kiera's not there. She didn't make it to the event. And so Keisha's kind of like trapped up Harry, like, I came for answers, I want to talk to the source, or whatever. And Harry's like, and then CJ, did you play with? Oh, and then Keisha goes to CJ, and she's like, I'm upset because these women were implying, or this woman or somebody is. I'm trying to get to the bottom of who said that I tried to trap you, that by having a baby. And he's like, did you trap me? And she's kind of like, this is a huge allegation. This is nothing to play with. Nothing to play about. And I thought that he meant it. I didn't really think he was playing. I thought he kind of feels like she tried to trap him, or he might feel that way, or I don't know. It just don't seem like a good match to me. It seemed like you pushing too hard to make something into something, and I don't know. And then we see Kiera. She's on the phone with Keisha, and oh no, we already talked about this. Okay, so she says there's nothing to play about. And then we see, then the next thing that happens is we see Kayla and JJ playing ping pong, and they have this whole thing where she's trying to keep him busy and not thinking about baseball. So she's making up all these rules, like, he's like, well, she can't play ping pong the regular way, so she want to play it her version, where, if you hit the ball with style, then, if you hit it pretty, you get a point. If you, make it jazzy, you get a couple points or whatever. They just having a good time. And her husband seems to be into it and seems to be amused. He says he's glad to be home, and they're trying to make the best of a bad situation. And again, it's a sweet thing. And despite my preconceived notions about them and their relationship. So that's nice to see. I'm like, yeah. Okay, so then we see Keisha and Nisha and Kiera, and they're in Nisha's office. And Nisha is basically like, look, I said what I said, and how you take it is up to you. I feel like it ain't no reason to get pregnant if you don't want to get pregnant. And that's how I feel. That's what I said. Now, I ain't say you tried to trap them, but if that's how you feel, I could have said it. I didn't say it, but, and Keisha is like, blah, 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 blah. She feels like, she's selling herself to Nisha, like explaining how, all of this stuff about her relationship and all of this stuff. And I kind of feel like Nisha, like, girl, you do you. She was just expressing her thoughts on it. But if you like it, I love it, whatever. But she trying to sell herself to Nisha, and Nisha is like, I'm not really buying. If you trying to be my friend, you have to go through a screening process to be my friend, and you haven't made it through. And then we find out that some of the she has 3 criteria. If you have to be college educated, and if you're not college educated, she wants to know what your goals are for the next 5 or 10 years. You have to be married, and you have to have kids. I think those were the 3 criteria. And then the other woman, Kiara, is like, oh, so I guess I made it through the screening process, huh? And Nisha is like, you know, like, this is very serious business here. And then, you know, she's like, all my friends have passed, Nisha says. And then Nisha is basically like, you know, I don't feel like, you know, you may or may not pass, you know, Keisha, and I don't care if you pass or not. I don't know if you're the right quality of woman for me to be around. You out here trying to trap men. I may not want you around my man trying to trap him. You know, and Nisha says she feel like, you know, folks don't need to have children out of wedlock. And, you know, there had been some tension. I guess Keisha was trying to get her to say, you know, well, I think it's okay, you know, because Keisha was like, well, I'm not going to apologize for having my daughter. And, you know, my baby is a blessing and all of this other stuff. But anyway, when Nisha said, I don't feel like people need to have children out of wedlock, it wasn't really nothing for Keisha to do, so she left. I mean, because that's it. She said what she said, and she meant it, and that's what she meant to say, and that's how she feels, and that's it. That's the end of the episode. Okay, so that's what we got. Ooh, my stomach, y'all. It's one of those days. It's rough. It's tough, but we're going to make it through. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, for hitting that subscription button. If you aren't a subscriber, hitting the like and comment button. Hitting the like button and commenting down below. If you are or aren't a subscriber, just for just as a thank you and showing appreciation for me, you know, bringing you some content that you might have enjoyed a little bit. Did you enjoy it a little bit? And share the video with your friends, and be you, be fabulous, you. Be you, be fabulous, you. Bye.